Well, another topic you've written on extensively is gratitude, particularly in your book, Grateful, the Transformative Power of Giving Thanks. What would surprise people about how transformative gratitude can be? Or what do you think in our talk of gratitude we miss sometimes?
The word gratitude is actually the base word for it in English. The word we have in English to describe this thing is gratus, which is a Latin word. And that word was used to describe the economic system of ancient Rome.
I did not know that.
I know. People don't know it. And so the idea was gratus was something that Caesar, who was the Lord and Savior of the universe, that Caesar would bestow his favor, his benefit, his gratus on all of society. So you have a pyramid-shaped society with Caesar at the top. And how people at the bottom got something is that Caesar, in his magnificent benevolence, would pass down all of the good gifts to everyone in the lower part of the pyramid.
So it was literally like that was currency, was like the gratitude of the Caesar is raining down. Oh,
yeah, it's literally what that was. And so there was, in return, a requirement that the people at the bottom of the pyramid had to pass their gratus back up to Caesar. And that was, in terms of their loyalty, their praise, an obligation to do what Caesar wanted them to do. And so, so much of the language of gratitude is wrapped up in Latin. We talk about quid pro quo.
Right.
Which is the idea that if your superior gives you something, you then are required to give something back. And if you violate that transactional circle, in ancient Rome, there are actually laws against ingratitude. And so if you were an ingrate, you could be
lose your life, be jailed, be killed.
Lose your property, have your kids sold off into slavery, forced to serve in the army, all kinds of things. And so, there's a whole set of laws and actually Roman law that guided the practice of gratitude and ingratitude. I think all the time about the story in Luke where Jesus says, but when you give a lunch or a dinner, when you give a dinner party, don't invite the rich and don't invite someone who can repay you. And literally Jesus says, and you will not be repaid.
Oh.
And then it says, except that you will get a reward in heaven. Right. And so what's happening there is Jesus is literally taking his listeners out of
empire. Yeah.
Out of empire. But anybody who would have been hearing Jesus say that would have been startled, because that's exactly how the system worked, is that when you had a feast, you invited people who could repay you.
Right.
And if you
transactional.
That was how currency worked. And so when Jesus says don't do that, he's literally saying don't participate in that economic system.